In the very early years of the 90s, some of the trends of the 80s were carried through. Some of these were acid wash jeans, bright fluorescent colors, spandex tights, tie-dye, and black leather biker jackets. The 80s also brought tube skirts. Tube skirts were either tight lyrica or black leather miniskirts. They were worn with long blazers and were very popular in Europe. This style lasted throughout most of the 90s. The early 90s were also inspired by retro fashion of the 1970s and 1960s. This influence led to the polo shirts for women and men's cardigan sweaters. This also led to hippie-inspired styles. This trend took mainstream in 1993. A popular item of clothing worn in this style was colored bell-bottom jeans. Other flare pants also became popular. These are loosely fit at the bottom and tighter on the upper part of the leg. Girls wore croquet vests. Although by this time grunge style was no longer mainstream, some aspects of the fashion still continued. This trend also led to body piercings. Navel piercings became extremely popular with this style. This led to clothing that exposed the midriff to exposed piercing. Eventually, other body piercings became popular as well. The late 90s were also inspired by the looks of the 70s. Citrus colors such as yellow and orange became widely seen in clothing of this period. Wide and flare pants also made its way back into the mainstream. Spaghetti strap and tank tops were brought back and were even more popular than in the 70s. Happy faces and peace signs were also seen on many t-shirts as well. Sports clothing made its way into the mainstream of the 90s. Netted team jerseys for baseball and basketball with the player's name and number on it became popular, as well as tracksuits with loose nylon on the outside. People also started wearing sports team jerseys as well as basketball jerseys as well. Basketball shorts also became popular due to the rising popularity of basketball jerseys. In the late 90s, the sports look changed only a little bit. New fashions were introduced. Tearaway track pants became the main fad of the sporty look. These pants could be torn open by buttons on the sides of the pants. They were worn with tank tops by girls and t-shirts by boys. All in all, the sports look is very connected to the hip-hop fashion. The hip-hop style came from the sporty look. This style was, however, more marked than the average sporty look. Some of the fads in hip-hop style were baggy jeans, large, chunky gold chains, football jerseys, big sweatshirts, and braided hair that was meant to copy many hip-hop artists. Some fashions were inspired by the media. An example of these are outfits seen in movies, Clueless. This movie brought baby doll dresses and high-heel stockings into popularity. Grunge was the most popular fashion trend of the 90s. The grunge scene was launched in 1992 in Seattle. Grunge gave the effect of looking like a person that just rolled out of bed. Plaid was a huge factor in the trend, and soon there would be more plaid than anywhere. Stores took advantage of this and started selling everything plaid, such as flannel shirts, plaid sweatshirts, plaid vests, and plaid shorts, which became popular by 1993. The ordinary grunge look was a band t-shirt under flannel jeans and with long greasy hair. The grunge look also popularized the waffle pattern shirts. These were mostly worn under flannel in the fashion. Waffle patterns were in style from 1993 to 1995. So came a little bit after grunge started, lasted a little while after it died out. It was also uncommon for clothing to have many holes in it. Many colors in the grunge fashion were black, red, white, indigo, forest green, and brown. Baggy pants were also usually seen in this fashion. Many people who sported the grunge fashion usually bought much of his or her clothing at thrift shops. Grunge music also came about. Grunge music was known for its unclear guitar sound. Although the style seemed to fade away in '94, flannel skip kept strong throughout most of the decade. The punk and alternative look, or to some the opposite in the clothing of the grunge look. In grunge, not so much was put into clothing, while in this fashion there seems to be a lot more thought into the clothing. This style was popular by 1996. In '97, the goth trend of the '80s came about into fashion. Many were wearing outfits that consisted of one color, black. They wore black boots with studded bracelets, with usually long black hair. Sometimes the black boots even reached knee height. In this style, both males and females wore a lot of makeup. Spiked hair and other dyed exotic colors such as fuchsia and green became popular as well. A trend extremely unlike punk or goth is the preppy look. The Tommy Hilfiger clothing brand became extremely popular in the style. Wool scarves became popular for girls, and khakis became popular for teenage boys because they were mainly worn by the popular golfer Tiger Woods. One of the biggest changes in business clothing was women began to wear pantsuits to work. The normal work attire for a man was a jacket with pleated pants. The 90s also introduced Casual Friday. During this time, people could dress down at work and practically wear whatever they wanted to. They led to This led to both men and women wearing denim for their jobs on Fridays. Other casual wear for women were sweater vests and shirt dresses worn without a tie. Most shoes of the 1990s were big and chunky. Some of the popular shoes were worn by Doc Martens, Mary Janes, and platform sneakers. Doc Martens were the shoe of the 90s. They could be worn on anyone, it didn't matter what classification you fit into. Other popular shoes were Nike Air Jordans. These shoes were publicized by the basketball player Michael Jordan. This was the fashion of the 1990s. Thank you.